Nowadays, gadgets are important things for humans. Gadgets can make our life easier. With gadgets, everything can be done. Looking for information, seeking knowledge, buying goods, doing work, or looking for entertainment. Almost everyone can use gadgets. Just by touching our finger on the screen, everything can be done. Now, adults and even children can use gadgets properly. With gadgets, children can get their happiness even for a moment. Gadgets can give a lot of good and bad impact to the children. So, the question is, what is the impact of excessive gadget use on children's health? And how impactful is it?
They're reactions that are in fact symptoms of one of the major medical challenges of our time. What's being called internet addiction disorder.
See, so many things could be happen to children. A gadget can give a big impact to the children. And the next question is, what is the solution to this issue? What should we do?
Gadget used in children. As the topic of this time, we're taking up all about nowadays parents who need to know about children's excessive use of gadgets in this modern society. And of course, we'll have this important information from our special guest today from MSAI, Medical Students Association of India. Okay, so our guest today is an intern doctor in Madras Medical College and now holds the position of National Exchange Officer for Outgoing in MSAI. She has gotten several experiences on IFMSA meeting and also presented and won first place at Exchange Fair or APRM 22 Malaysia. And not only that, for the academic achievement, completed an international certificate course in bioethics and human rights by UNESCO Chair in Bioethics. And on 2019, she got runner-up at Intern College Forensic Medicine Quiz. And also, she is interested in K-pop dance, basketball, and joined the National Cadet Corps or NCC. Wow, what a really multi-talented speaker, right? So here to discuss an amazing topic. Yep, there was a little information about our speaker. And now let's move to the next section, which is the talk show with our extraordinary guest. Well, everyone, time for our speaker. Please welcome Dr. Ria Rajkumar.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Thank you so much, Geeta, for that wonderful introduction. I'm really honored to be part of this session. Thank you so much to Indonesia and to the National Exchange Officer, Sasa, Bela, and to the Leo, Malika, who co-moderated everything and invited me here. And finally, all the participants present at the session. Really happy to be here and looking forward to the talk show.
So, hello, nice to meet you, Rhea. And nice to hear that. So, before we start this sharing session, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself to our viewers first?
Sure. So, as Geeta has so wonderfully mentioned in her introduction about me, I'm Dr. Ria Rajkumar. I'm an intern. Intern is basically fifth year of medicine in Indian medical education system. So I'm currently an intern, and I'm also the National Exchange Officer from MSCI India, which is Medical Students Association India, and I'm handling the exchanges program here. I recently completed a professional and a research exchange training from APR Malaysia, where she also mentioned that I won exchange fair. So basically, I completed my training session from IFMSA. And apart from that, yes, I've also done an international certificate course in bioethics. I mean, Agrida's pretty much covered everything. I'm just repeating all of it. And yeah, apart from that, I'm really interested in K-pop. I have a YouTube channel. I have a dance group. And yeah, it's just really amazing to be here. I mean, there's a lot to speak about me, but I'll just sort of limit over here.
Okay, so our guest today, so amazing, right? All right, since we have known each other better, let's just get right into our exciting topic about the health effects of excessive gadget use in children. So we all know that for now, we can rid of phones, laptops, or other kinds of electronic gadgets in our life because of their prominence on people's activity. In Indonesia, we found data from, we call it Badan Pusat Statistik, there in the last 5 years, the use of information and communication technology or ICT in Indonesia has shown rapid development. And the population using the internet has increased during the period 2016 until 2020 by around 25.37 to 53.73%. The data shows that somehow it also happens in children's age. And in 2020, there is 42.56% of the population age over 5 years until high school has accessed the internet. Due to the pandemic and limited physical socialization, so this number starts to increase rapidly. This can become a new problem if not handled properly, right? Okay, so Rhea, maybe let's just start to talk about it. Okay, for the first question, what does it look like about gadget use in your country? Do children tend to overuse it?
Yeah, so gadget use has been quite prevalent in India for the last few years, especially because the COVID pandemic hit. We saw a drastic rise in the gadget use among children, especially among the age group, even starting from toddlers who are just, 1.5 years age group to, of course, adult age group, people like us. So especially during COVID time, we saw a very drastic increase in gadget use and it's quite prevalent. And it's becoming a major issue because when it comes to pediatrics, that is the department that deals with children. We see a lot of cases, a lot of children that come with behavioral disorders, sleeping disorders, and most of them we track down to the fact that they use excessive gadgets. So yes, it is quite prevalent in India.
Okay, so Rhea, in Indonesia, children do it too. And what does it look like in adults in your country?
In adults, right? So in adults, there's no doubt the amount of social media use, here, starting from students like us, or if they are high school students in the age group of 17 to 18, or adults like middle age, like 30 to 40 years. Almost everybody uses social media and indirectly uses gadgets. So all of us have TVs at home, mobile phones, tablets, and any handheld devices. And since again post COVID, most of the work people are doing it work from home. And even though the pandemic has died down, many of them still continue to work from home. So the phones, laptop, etc., become a major way of working, or has become an important part of all the adult lifestyle. So it has become sort of unavoidable to use gadgets at this point, and even that has become a major issue, and there are a lot of psychological problems that adults face these days. So yes, even in adults, gadget use is quite prevalent.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rhea. And then the next question, what are the parameters of excessive use of gadgets in children? Is there any supporting data about that?
Yes, so recently, the last 2 years, there have been a lot of studies conducted on excessive gadget use in India. Mainly talking about those particular university, like every university conducted a research study on excessive gadget use in their own colleges. Apart from that, Academy of Indian Pediatrics, and even we have something called ICMR, which is the Indian Council for Medical Research. Um, all of these institutions have conducted some sort of research for excessive gadget use, especially post-pandemic. So we have a lot of data. And according to one of the research papers that I can quote, there's around almost 56% increase in the amount of gadget use seen pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. And because of that, a lot of institutes even came up with guidelines for screen time that every children or like particular adult group should go through. I'll cover that in the coming few topics perhaps. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So talking about excessive use of gadgets. So excessive use of gadgets certainly has an impact, right? And talk about the impact. What do you think about the impact of excessive gadget use on children's health and how impactful is it?
So the thing about gadget use is it actually impacts all of our systems. It's not just the eyes or it's not just the face. It almost covers all parts of our systems. So the basic thing that all of us know is eyesight, right? Like very naturally we assume because of the excessive radiation, the excessive screen time that we have, it naturally affects the vision. And there are very early onset of refraction errors and visual deformities, visual disorders that children go through. But apart from that, a lot of disorders that we tend to ignore in the age group of children is the mental disorders or behavioral disorders. A lot of these children who have excessive gadget use tend to become really aggressive. They have a very aggressive way of behaving when, for example, throwing tantrums or like reduced socialization and reduce socialization and hyperactivity, aggression, violence, and some even tend to feel a fear of missing out, a fear of being left out because of excessively being used to just using gadgets and not going outside. Also, these children are highly exposed to cyberbullying, being exposed to inappropriate content because a lot of times parents are not able to monitor what exactly their children are watching. So that becomes a major issue. Apart from that, physically a lot of these children end up being praised to obesity. They have a sedentary lifestyle and disturbed sleep patterns. A lot of them are not able to sleep well because of excessive gadget use, and a lot of them have neck, back, wrist pain because of excessive phones or sitting on the laptop for a long time or sitting in front of the TV for a long time. So when children start using gadgets at a very early age, when they start becoming adults or like even adolescents, they start facing these issues at a very earlier time, something that only older adults would face. These children tend to suffer from these at a very early age.
Okay, thank you, Rhea. So I think there is so much an impact uh, of use of gadgets. And so in India, is there a special policy in India regarding this matter?
So currently, as I would say, I wouldn't say there's a perfect government policy, or any health policy that has been introduced. But as I said, there are various medical institutions that are creating guidelines that can be, followed by parents or medical students or doctors, that so that they can advise these particular children or their parents on how to go about gadget use. Because gadget use is something that we cannot stop, right? We cannot just say don't stop using gadgets. So there have to be certain guidelines that can followed so that there is moderation. We can minimize the gadget use. So I'll just quote one of the guidelines that was given by the guidelines was given by the Indian Academy of Pediatrics. According to them, children below the age of 2 years should not be exposed to any type of screen at all below the age of 2 years, because that is a very sensitive age. And at that time, if we introduce them to screen time, they basically become addicted to it. And all of the behavioral disorders or cognitive disorders that I mentioned, that is the time they get affected the most. Then coming to children between the age group of 2 to 5 years, it should not exceed above 1 hour. And for older children and adolescents, it is important if we cannot completely keep a time limit on it, but it's important to balance screen time with other activities like physical activity, adequate sleep, time for like schoolwork, meals, hobbies, and family time. So it's important to have a balanced screen time for older children.
Okay, thank you, Rhea. Um, so we know that in cases like this, the role of parents is needed, right? So in your opinion, what are some ways that parents can overcome children who are already addicted to gadgets?
Right. So it's very important, as I said, that parents are the ones who are going to be the guiding, the guide for their children at a very young age. And first thing I would say is the parents are the role model. So what they do, children tend to copy it up. So if we have a child in our house, we tell them to not use, but instead we use. It's not going to set a good example. So it's very important first as parents that they set an example, then they reduce their own screen time. Then there's something called digital hygiene. So this is a very new concept that's been coming up. Digital hygiene, which again basically focus on balancing screen time. So what we can do is children who are already addicted, we cannot, as I said, ask them to stop immediately. Right? It has to be very gradual. So what can be done is there can be certain time schedules that the parents can have. Like for example, maybe like evening 4 to 5 p.m. is the time you can use maybe a phone or a tablet or something. And after that, you should go out to play. So we should create a proper timetable for them, which includes the phone, etc. for them, because we cannot suddenly take the phone out of their lives. It has to be gradual. We can make a schedule for them, which includes their time on games or anything on tablets or phones, and then have allocated time for their physical activities, for their school studies, for their academics. Apart from that, it's important for parents to have regular interaction with their kids, sit with them, talk to them, ask about their day. In that, they tend to share a lot of things. And when the parent creates a very good connection with the children will even will want to listen to their parents even more. And like if in the later time after creating this connection, the parent says that okay, today maybe you do not use the phone, the kid might want to agree with it and will actually understand. So those are things I would say. Plus, I think diet and nutrition will also play a very good part, because most of the kids who are on gadgets for a long time, they have a very sedentary lifestyle and not a very good balanced diet, and tend to become obese and stuff. So parents can also take time in provide them good nutrition, good balanced diet along with these methods that I've mentioned. That way, I think we can focus on an overall development for the child and an easy removal from their dedicated time towards social media and gadgets.
Yeah, I agree with you, Raya. But Raya, sometimes children can be separated from the phone because there is something on the phone that they want to keep playing. So
Yes.
what if we have tried to distract the child from the gadget, but they refuse and throw a tantrum? What should parents do?
Yes. So as I mentioned, it's really very difficult to immediately have children suddenly not use the phones, and they are bound to uh, throw a tantrum for the same. So it's very important to have the transition from them using the gadget to not using gadget on a smooth basis over a long period of time. So it has to be very gradual. At first, the time, as I mentioned, for example, if the child is used to using their phone for 5 hours, we slowly reduce it to 4.5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours. And because they are addicted to their phone, for example, for a game that they really like, say PUBG, everybody plays PUBG. So all of them, PUBG is a game I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, right? So I've seen a lot of kids who are like, very much addicted to it. So, for example, a kid is, really likes playing PUBG, and that's what he or she spends a lot of time. What we can do is the parent can try to find alternative things for the kid to play that might be, similarly interesting to them. Maybe go for some outdoor play time or go take them to a theme park. Like these are efforts that the parents will have to put if they really want the kid to be, not addicted to the phone. It will require some dedication, some time allotment from the parents as well. So that is something that the parents will have to do from their side. So the time reduction will be gradual. Look for alternative play times or alternative activities that the kid might like that will make them not interested in the mobile game, in the phone game or in PUBG, for example, but interested in another activity. And this would be like feel an effective method in making sure that they not throw a tantrum, and at the same time they're able to reduce their time on the phones or gadgets. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Raya. I think that was a brilliant opinion. Okay, so we back to the impact of excessive use of gadgets on children's health. Is there any relationship between poor emotion management in children and excessive gadget use?
Yes, quite a lot actually. Because in the very initial phase, as I said, the children are just developing. They are learning how to be people. They're learning how to socialize. They're learning how to talk, and they're developing so many skills. So at that point of time, if they get addicted to something, now gadgets are something that have variety of content. They can watch videos on it. They can watch cartoons. They can be games, and they are like variety of content, and they are exposed to all of them at the same time. without any monitoring, So we don't know what they learn, right? So because they're exposed to a variety of content at the same time, it affects their behavior at a very large scale. So a lot of these kids end up having behavioral issues. As I said, they become aggressive, they become violent. A lot of them have attention deficit disorders, and a lot of them have developmental delays. Like these students may end up not performing well in schools. So, and of course, emotional damage as well. They are not able to emotionally cope up well, or stress. They are not able to manage stress as much as how the other kids would do. So, gadget use and excessive gadget use has direct impact on behavior, on emotions, and how they handle it. So that is why intervention is very much important.
Okay, so maybe it make stress for children or make children smooth up and down, right? Oh, okay, so how important are these efforts to prevent children from excessive gadget use?
So these students, these children are basically the future of our country, right? Right now, the kids, they're going to be the ones to study. They're going to be the ones who are going to be future adults. And it's very important to mold them at the right point. Only if we educate them right now, we can make sure they become good citizens of the country. They do the right thing. They understand what are the priorities. Like within, I'm sure that in Chimsa and in MSA, all of us talk about sustainable development goals, global health priorities, importance of medical education, public health, reproductive health, etc. So all of these are such important priorities, and these are the children who are going to be future students who are going to focus on all of this. They are going to be the ones who are going to be advocates of change for all of this. So it's our responsibility that we make sure they go the right path. They do not fall into addictive and bad habits, and their development, their cognitive, behavioral, all kinds of development go in the right path, so that we make sure that we have wonderful children, wonderful adult citizens in the future for us. That is why intervention is really important.
Okay, thank you, Arya. So the next question, is there any factor that influence gadget addiction in children apart from parenting?
I would say parenting does make a huge difference. Apart from that, it's just the society, because if the child meets a relative, or they go to another family with their parents, they see other children using gadgets, and they automatically become like they become tempted to use it. Maybe they go to school and they see certain children with expensive phones, expensive laptops, and they feel like, oh, I also want that. Or if they go to some other playground, or they go to another, I don't know, maybe a party with their parents, they see other kids playing with their phones, or they see other children doing something. Basically, I'm talking about peer pressure. So peer pressure can also play a major role in excessive gadget use. And of course, how do I say, indirectly, when they watch content on TV, on television, on social media, they get very much tempted by that. A lot of these television ads, or like videos, etc., they may portray something else, but the children, they are so naive, right? They may not, if they are not guided well, they may take a particular topic the wrong way. If they see a video, or they see, for example, a movie, an actor doing something, they might feel like they want to do the same thing. Right? They want to replicate the same thing that actors are doing. So in those senses, they become motivated. It's like not the right motivation per se. So apart from parenting, I would say peer pressure, and then social media itself motivates the students to use gadgets even more.
Okay, thank you, Raya, for the answer. Okay, so we are already on the last question. What kind of message can you give to parents and children out there about this concerning topic?
Yeah. So coming to the last question, it's like coming to the end of the session so soon. But yeah, it's like I've spoken a lot about this topic, and overall, I would just like to say how I mentioned about the fact that how it's important that we intervene right now. That excessive gadget use and all of its health impacts is something that need our attention at the moment, because it's like increasing at a very alarming rate, especially post-pandemic. We've seen a high rise in that. So this would be a right time for us to intervene, to make sure all the students out there, all the children in schools out there, if they will be watching these videos, my message to you would be, to do everything in moderation. We are not asking you to stop it, because right now life without gadgets, life without social media is not possible. Even this particular meeting that we are having is possible because of the gadget, a laptop that we're using, or the Zoom media that we're using, or social media through which I got the invitation. So without gadgets, without social media, our life is not possible right now. But that is not our entire life. Our life, this is just part of life, and there is so much to life. There's physical activities, there's meeting people, there's social interaction, there's sports, there's dancing, there's talking to people and going to parties with friends. So there's so much to life. So it's important we understand that gadgets and social media are just part of life. It's very important to allocate times to others as well. So my message would be to keep that in mind, to balance our life, to balance social media and gadgets in our life, and allocate proper time to other things as well. And to parents, this would be the if you have smaller kids at home, this would be the right time to make sure they do not fall into the wrong habits. You have a very good opportunity in molding your child, so take up this opportunity and mold your child the best way possible, so you would be the proud parents to your children. And future, as they would be the future citizens, we can ensure that our countries, respective countries, and the world has like really good future citizens in the world. Yeah, that would be it.
Okay, so I guess we should be aware of the healthy or normal use of gadgets and not be excessive, right? Okay, well, that was a wonderful talk with Dr. Rea Rajkumar, and we get so much insight from it. Thank you so much, Rea, for the insight you shared with us. It was very amazing and worthwhile. Um, Actually, we still want to talk more about this interesting topic, but unfortunately, the time is up.
No problem.
Sorry, Dr. Rea.
Thank you so much.
So for now, we can conclude that excessive use of gadgets in children is dangerous. While such device can offer hours of entertainment and learning, the excessive exposure to screens, as well as the content available online, could have an adverse influence on children. So therefore, parents should be aware of the healthy and normal use of gadgets in children and not be excessive. All right, we have learned a lot of things from this station. And thank you so much to our special guest today, Dr. Ria Rajkumar, for sharing much insight for us. Lastly, to our lovely viewers, don't forget to always catch up with our awesome content in our Instagram at Cimsa Unej and YouTube Cimsa Universitas Jember. And don't forget to follow our guest Instagram account at the.tomboy.princess. Okay, thank you, Rea. So I am Gita Penausa. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Cimsa